Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Peak Physique Podcast. The Peak Physique Podcast is for adults who want to get their fire back. The Peak Physique Podcast has two missions. One, to give you valuable information on wellness, and two, to provide that information in under 15 minutes. With that being said, let's jump into today's topic. For the final podcast of 2023, I want to discuss with all of you how we approach nutrition at Peak Physique with our group members. The approach to nutrition is probably the most challenging part of the whole equation when it comes to lifestyle change, especially for people who are trying to lose a lot of weight. It becomes especially challenging when you're in a setting like we are at Peak Physique in our group classes, because we're managing a large amount of people, and it's hard to hold everybody fully accountable. With that being said, however, we have come up with a system in the last year that really works well as long as it's followed as it should be. I want to share with you how it all works, because it doesn't matter if you're a member of the gym or somebody out there that just listens to the podcast. You could definitely use this and see some results. It always boils down to discipline. No matter what approach you take with your diet, you have to do it every day. You have to follow what you're doing religiously if you want to tip the scales in your favor. So let's jump in. If my skills with editing are any good, you should be looking at a flow chart at this moment that says diet process flow chart. You should see two different starting lines. A starting line next to where it says 1 smoothie per day, and a starting line near where it says join Biggest Loser Challenge. That is where we have our members start their journey with their diet. So when somebody joins the gym, they either join through the Biggest Loser Challenge, or they join through one of our trial memberships. The people that join through the Biggest Loser Challenge are provided a 28-day meal plan along with their trial experience. So basically, diet's covered for that first 28 days with the meal plan, because it tells the person in the challenge everything they should eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between. The person joining the gym through our trial, either whether it be through a group or one-on-one, are starting with our simple approach of doing 1 smoothie per day for that first month. The reason we do that is we want people to focus more on the workout experience at first and not overwhelm themselves with 18 million different things going on. So, priority 1 is get those workouts in. Priority 2 is substituting a smoothie for 1 meal per day, 5 days a week. The reason we do that is it really helps body effectively operate when it comes to weight loss, sleep, exercise, just getting that extra dose of nutrition that most people aren't getting through drinking those smoothies. Really just makes the body operate more optimally. And again, it doesn't overwhelm the individual coming in just trying to get used to one thing at a time. After the Biggest Loser Challenge, or that first month for those trial members are done, we graduate to the next thing, which is what you see in the middle of this flow chart here, which is food logging. So food logging is a very effective way to kind of plan your diet around your goals. Like, say for instance, somebody weighing 200 pounds wants to weigh 170 pounds. Food logging takes all of the complications of diet nutrition out and allows the individual to just focus on the numbers when it comes to how many calories they're consuming and all of those macros that you hear about. If you're not sure what a macro is, it's macronutrient, which means the amount of protein, the amount of fat, the amount of carbohydrates one is consuming. So with the approach we take at Peak Physique is we have people do their food logging on an app called MyFitnessPal. If you're not familiar, it's a great tool. It's free. There's a paid version too, but the free version works very well. But when you start out on MyFitnessPal, they ask you what your goals are, and then they give you some baseline numbers to follow along with as you are logging your food, as far as how many calories you should be consuming, to all those macronutrients I mentioned before. So this is a great way to get things started. Not only do you have numbers that will allow you to just try to stick to a plan, it also really is eye-opening for a lot of people when they start looking at the numbers on the nutrition facts, as far as how much sugar is in the food they're eating, the caloric density of the foods they're eating. And generally people just make better choices after they've been logging food for a couple of weeks, just because you start to know the things that are good for you, the things that aren't. And as they say in the business, in almost all businesses, numbers don't lie. So if the people that we're working with at Peak Physique are doing a good job of tracking their numbers and following through with hitting the goals that MyFitnessPal lays out, we should see the scale moving in our favor. However, if it's not, that gives us a baseline that we can adjust from. So say, for instance, the caloric recommendation of 1,700 for a client didn't get them any weight loss in that first month. We can shift it down 100 calories in the month ahead and see what happens 30 days down the road with that extra 100 shaved off. So again, food logging, when it's done right, really allows for exact science to the whole process, and it gets us to the point where we can dial down the numbers that we need to get to on a daily basis to start seeing that scale moving in our favor. So when somebody finally reaches their weight loss goal from food logging, we give them the choice at the gym to either continue on logging food, or you can graduate to intermittent fasting or using the 80-20 rule. The reason we give people the option of graduating to intermittent fasting or the 80-20 rule is simply that it's a lot less involved. For busy people, logging their food every day might not be the favorite thing to do, and they'd rather just have the freedom of something simple. Intermittent fasting is simple, and from the research I've done myself, very, very healthy for your body. So I highly, highly advocate for that after somebody's hit that weight loss goal that they're looking for. So going back into the 80-20 rule, 80-20 is simply 80% of the time you're making good food choices, 20% of the time you're giving yourself some leeway. So if you have 21 meals in a week, that means roughly 18 of them should be healthy, and 3 of them you can give yourself a little bit of a cheat meal. Again, those two methods are just simple ways to keep yourself accountable and probably stay on track with good health as well. Looking at this flow chart again, there's an arrow that points up from intermittent fasting or 80-20 rule that goes to lost motivation. In a perfect world, you meet that prince and you get married, and life goes on happily ever after. But in reality, especially when it comes to diet, sometimes we lose our motivation, sometimes we lose our way, and we got to move beyond doing the intermittent fasting or 80-20 rule and get back into some more disciplined approach to everything we're doing. And that's where that flow chart points us right back to joining the Biggest Loser Challenge. At the gym, this is just a really easy way to say, all right, committing to eating the meals that are provided for me in the meal plan for the next 28 days. We know through trial, many people have gone through our Biggest Loser Challenge. We know that it works. It helps you lose weight. You're in a caloric deficit almost every day if you're following things the right way. And it allows you to halt any maybe sugar addictions that are plaguing your diet at the time, or whatever maybe diet issues you have. It just kind of dials you back in and focuses you back on just getting down into a good ideal weight, and reminding yourself that eating healthy isn't the worst thing in the world. After you've gone through maybe that lost motivation back into the Biggest Loser Challenge and you graduate, you're back on the food log until you've reached your goal weight. Or, again, if you like doing food logging, we tell people you can continue on with that as well. Not to say that this process that I just walked you through is the only way to do things. Again, this is just the way that works well with us when we're managing a lot of people, and it also is definitely effective in improving one's health, and that's important too. If you or anybody that comes to the gym for that matter and wants to do something in replacement of that big middle portion of the flow chart, which is the food logging, I'm open to the idea of it. I just want to know that whatever you're doing isn't going to have a bad impact on your health. So that's the most important thing again. But that's how our diet process flow chart works at Peak Physique. I hope you guys found this helpful. Even you guys that are members of the gym already, maybe we haven't made this clear enough yet. And this really clears up some things for you. With that being said, thanks for watching, listening, whatever you did here today. If you enjoyed this podcast, I just ask that you do me one favor and share this bad boy up on social media. Let everybody know that there's some great information out there on how to manage your diet effectively. And you never know, somebody might have a big positive impact from giving it a try. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you're watching this, listening to this in relatively close time to the end of 2023, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see